Welcome to not the first episode, but episode 0 of On a Tuesday with Matt and Dylan. I'm Matt.
I'm Dylan.
And we decided to make a podcast because we miss each other. And I miss seeing Dylan's baby blue eyes. And I just want to talk to him, you know?
We're starting to get back. We're starting to get back.
Yeah, I definitely
don't know
feel
if we'll ever get. I don't know if we'll ever get back to where we were before 2020, like in 2019. But
yeah, it's just gonna be so like weird when things are like normal. Like normal is gonna be weird. Like what are we gonna do?
I don't know if it's really actually gonna be normal. I mean, we say normal, but like, what is normal now?
I think it's gonna be like literally just us like walking around like just like super sus, like looking at each other, just like we're good. Like
it's gonna be like a real life. It's gonna be like a real life game of Among Us, except for we're not trying to kill each other. Well, actually, yeah, we're still not trying to kill each other.
One of you still has coronavirus.
Yeah. We're gonna be like meeting up in groups of like socially distant groups of like 6 and like apartments, and we're gonna be talking, and it's just gonna be like, one of you hasn't gotten the vaccine yet. Who is it?
Well,
you're just gonna be.
I actually saw they did like the recommendations from the CDC of like going forward now that like people are getting vaccinated, like what you can do.
I heard that like you can like meet up. You can meet up again with people, but
yeah. So if you're vaccinated, you're fine to meet up with like other vaccinated people. You're fine to meet up with people who aren't vaccinated, but who are like in the same household, you know?
Yeah.
But you still have to like wear a mask if you're like with like a bunch of unvaccinated people, you know? And but yeah, man, we're almost there. We're so close.
Yeah, but I'm real curious to see what it's gonna be like. Again, going back to normal, because for me, I don't know. This whole pandemic has kind of shown, like, I don't want to say how disgusting people are, but like,
no, seriously, like I might just wear a mask like at the grocery store,
because like you never realize like how many people like never.
just spit on all your food that you go and get at the grocery store.
Well, they just like basic decency, like covering your nose and all that, whenever you sneeze and all that. Like, and people were fighting this mask mandate for some reason to prove the point, but like
it's against their freedoms, Dylan. Well, it's a free country, okay?
I mean, it's just crazy to think like how. I don't know. The pandemic just kind of changed how I like saw the world because
definitely. It's just definitely
because it's like you don't realize like how many people like never really like washed their hands as well as they should have, or like again didn't like cover their mouth whenever they sneezed or coughed and all that. And now I'm just kind of like,
I don't know if I want to be around all y'all again.
Yeah, at least without a mask on. I mean,
yeah, maybe it's just mask every day for the rest of my life,
except whenever you walk into a bank, maybe. I mean,
I don't know. I mean, yeah, we'll see if even that goes back to normal.
Going
like
forward,
maybe it's still going to be okay.
Yeah. Yeah, because I don't know, like now you can go to the bank with a mask on. They highly encourage it, but afterwards, I don't know. That'd be sus. I don't know. It's going to be weird seeing how the world views masks going forward. Like, we're gonna be okay, where's it not gonna be okay?
Yeah, I feel like the US is always gonna have people that are like look at you weird whenever you're gonna wear a mask, like in a year. I think if someone wears a mask, they might, I mean, it's not gonna be like how it used to be. Like, I feel like because people used to wear masks, like if they wanted to.
People aren't gonna be, I don't think people are gonna be like, oh my god, no, this person, he looks like he's going to rob the place. They're probably going to be like, all right, this person don't want to get sick. Like,
yeah,
like, I don't know. It's kind of, I feel like
it's going to be like less
things have changed.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think anybody's going to like see somebody walking down the street like, oh my God, they're going to go rob somebody or rob a bank or something. They're probably going to be like, either they still got the Rona or they're trying to like protect against the Rona, you know, like
Yeah, or just
I don't know.
against normal
It's gonna be
germs,
weird to
like,
see.
or
Yeah.
against like nobody's gotten a cold this whole year. Like I haven't
Yeah, that's
gotten
true.
a cold. Like,
The only thing I've gotten is allergies, and that's
oh,
because
dude,
Texas
my
Texas
allergies
is
have
windy.
hit. Like, I'm in full fledged allergy mode.
Yeah.
Like, probably for the
Oh,
last 2 weeks, 3 weeks, like my nose is just stuffed.
yeah. It's been like the past few days here in Corpus. I mean, we get some weird weather out here. Maybe it's because we're by the, the water and all that, but like, I mean, the
Don't you guys have
wind
like
just
another snowstorm over there right now?
no,
Or
it's
is it
just
just
gonna be
cold,
it's just gonna be
rainy?
rainy. It's just
Ah.
gonna be rainy. But the wind is insane. Well, let me look up.
Yesterday was supposed to be mine and Jen's wedding. Like that was our original date.
Oh
And
yeah,
it would
that's
have
right.
rained on our wedding.
Oh man, well that sucks. Well, it's a good thing you're not,
So yeah, so we
getting
moved.
married.
So I mean, I guess maybe it was for the best.
The wind is currently 12 miles per hour right now,
Nice. So it's
and
just
yeah,
blowing.
yeah. And I mean that's not even the worst. It gets higher sometimes, but yeah, the past few days it's just been insane.
Yeah. Gets weird. So Dylan,
Hmm.
what you been watching?
I think the better question is, what haven't I been watching?
What was it? TV, movies? What's been on your screen these
Oh
days?
man, I'm telling you, it's an easier question to ask what I haven't been watching because I go through a lot of TV shows. Okay, that's my
I
thing.
know
I
this
mean,
about you.
I was known to binge watch entire seasons in a month that
Mm-hmm.
were well into
Month,
their.
more like week.
Okay, we'll beg to differ on that one. We'll split the difference and call it 2 weeks, okay? Uh, but let's see. What I just recently restarted. I started watching the Justice League cartoon again
Nice.
from our childhood.
That was like a really great. Wait, are you watching like the Justice League or Justice League Unlimited, or you're just gonna go one into
I'm
the
I'm
other?
I'm going one into the other every because I did that a few years ago whenever that was on Netflix, and then they took it off, and I was very sad about that. This was like in 2015, 2016. So whenever I saw HBO Max had it up, I was like, I know what I'm doing.
I don't remember when. I think it was. Was I in college when I was watching it? Because I feel like I might have known you. I'm not sure, but it was either college or like late high school when I had first just like gone through all of it, and it was whenever it was on like Netflix and stuff, and I just like binged straight through all of it.
Yeah,
God, what a great show!
it's been a while, but yeah, I was rewatching it yesterday, and I forgot how cool Hawk Woman was or Hawk Girl. I mean,
She's
it's
cool.
just she was really cool. I'm kind of sad that we haven't seen her yet
Is
in
she
like
big in
the
the
movies.
main one, or does she get bigger in like Unlimited or whatever it's called?
So in the first two seasons of regular Justice League, she's like an active member, and so she's like one of the main ones. But then whenever at the end of Justice League was whenever the Hawk people invaded Earth,
Mm,
remember? And then
yeah,
so then
Egypt
they
stuff and
yeah, so then she was like caught in the middle, and then they like had a vote to see whether they would keep her in the league, and they ultimately decided, yeah, we would. But then she just kind of like
imagine if they just booted her. Like, yeah, like you've been here this whole time, but now that some alien. Imagine Superman says that now that some
yeah,
aliens are invading, you're not cool here anymore.
he's like, I don't know, you kind of led an alien invasion. Oh,
Just
I
like, oh
don't know.
yeah, Mister, my race has Zod that tried to blow us all up, and
I'm pretty sure the Kryptonians have tried to take over Earth well
many a
over one
time,
time. Yeah.
many a time.
Yeah, I started rewatching that, but I also started rewatching. I don't know if you ever watched it, but it was this old show on CBS called Person of Interest.
It sounds familiar, but I don't. I've never watched it.
It was
Who's in it?
created. Um,
Is there anybody I know?
oh my God. I'm blanking on her name right now. Oh, Taraji P. Henson. Do you
I think I know who that is. Hold on, Google, Google,
just
Google.
Google person of interest?
Taraji B. Oh yeah. I know who this is.
Yeah, so she's
The
in there.
Empire, Hidden
Yeah,
Figures.
yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, should Google regular person of interest cast because I'm not sure who all you might recognize some of them. There's a
Is this
what's
like
his
a whatchamacallit show, like a crime show?
yeah. So it's created and written by is it
Yeah, I know this
Jonathan?
show because I know that nerdy guy, that nerdy looking guy.
Yeah. So
He looks familiar.
it's created and written by Jonathan Nolan, who, as we know, is the brother of Christopher Nolan.
Never heard of him.
And oh, well, let me tell you, I think you might like some of his stuff. I think
Yeah.
he's a little unknown actor that you might not have known about.
Director.
This, yes, I'm sorry, the director. He's a little director you might not have heard.
I mean, I wouldn't have known that. So,
but yeah. So it's created and written by Jonathan Nolan, and it's basically so the guy that you recognize with the glasses.
yeah,
He's like a wealthy programmer, and
I could tell.
he builds this machine that can determine like uh, when a crime is about to be like either committed by this person or happened to this person.
Minority Report.
Yeah, so kind of like that. It's able to like it can't give any details. It just gives their like social security number, and it's able to predict that something is going to happen to this person. They're not sure if they're going to commit something or do something, or if something's going to happen. Yeah, or something's going to happen with them. So he recruits this ex-CIA guy who is presumed dead, and he's just like living off the grid, and he recruits him to help him go around and like save these people, or like change what they're gonna do. So like
so he's like Tom Cruise in Minority Report.
Yeah. I mean, it's basically that along that lines, and as the show goes on, because I've watched this before, because I always saw it and I was like, I don't know, it never seemed that interesting, and then I watched it in like 2018 whenever we were taking all those classes with Stacy and all them about
all
AI
the sci-fi
and stuff.
type.
Yeah, and then so that's whenever I watched it, and I was just like, I was hooked. And so like as it goes on, then there's like the government's getting involved because they want to take the technology and basically again use it for their own gain, which is it's never good whenever the government says they want to take this. Yeah, so then it like I don't know, there's all these elements that get thrown in there, and it's a really good show, and I highly recommend it. I think everybody should at least watch it. It's really interesting.
I might check it out eventually. I feel like I'm never into those like serial drama type shows. Like I've never been into like CSI or anything like that. I feel like that's like probably up that alley.
Kind of. I don't know. I'm always iffy on shows like that. I mean, it depends on what like the kind of mood I'm in. Sometimes I want like some kind of like crime AI stuff like that.
Yeah. Sometimes I feel like usually if I watch a show, it's like if a show that could have been a movie is usually what I end up watching, where it's like super good cinematography and all that good stuff.
Oh man, I love watching shows that like I love the character arc and just watching them go like from where they begin, and then
those ones at least they're like super like dramatic, like they just have like this crazy stuff that goes on and like this weird like
sometimes they're like really good, and then sometimes I mean I've been in the middle of shows like I was watching I got recommended Grey's Anatomy one time, and I binged it. I got caught up on it.
Jen just watched the new episode of that where something happened.
Have you watched the new one? I stopped watching it. No, because I stopped watching it.
I didn't want to spoil
because
it
was oh no. I stopped watching it. It got too boring. I like shows that keep me like I like to have shows that I also like put on as background but also like background noise whenever I'm doing something, but also like whenever I'm not doing something, I could sit down and watch. And Grey's Anatomy was pretty good as background noise whenever I wasn't really paying attention. And then once I sat down to actually watch it, it wasn't bad.
I literally asked Jen the other day, I was like, why do you still watch that? And she was like, I've dedicated like 10 years of my life. I'm going to just stick with it until it's done. I was like, yeah.
She dedicated 10 years. I dedicated like 4 weeks.
To just binge the whole thing. Me and Jen just finished the first season of Mindhunter on Netflix, which is like the David Fincher, looks for serial kill, or they don't look for, well, they kind of look for serial killers, but mostly it's like them talking to serial killers,
and they're like trying
studying them and stuff
they're
like that.
Trying to like develop like the profile of what
they're trying to like
a serial killer is.
It was like before serial killers were like they literally invent the name like serial killer in the show, where they're like, they're trying to figure out these people and like ways that they could preemptively
like notice them in society,
and then like prevent it, and basically like try to solve crimes that are like currently happening, like based off of these things that they're learning from the serial killers. And dude, it's like so interesting. Like it's like, I think like the first episode was like, it wasn't boring, but it was like, okay, like people talking. Cool.
Yeah.
The whole show is just people talking for the most part.
Yeah. I've heard about it. I've always like, I remember I tried to start it once, but I was really bored because it was just talking. So I was like, okay, I'll get back to it eventually, and I will get back to it at some point.
Yeah.
But I do know it's like it's like really good. It's gotten like really rave reviews across the board.
We're on like episode 3 of season 2 right now. The whole first season is just like every time that they talk to like those serial killer stuff, like that stuff is like so like interesting, and it just like sucks you in. Like it's one thing I don't like about it. I don't know. I think this is a Fincher thing. He really likes to put conversations in loud places, like at a bar where everything's just super loud around her and it's really hard to hear what's going on. He does that for like all his stuff, and it's so annoying to me because I'm the kind of person that'll literally just crank up the volume because I can't hear. And so it's just this loud
and so you're trying to like understand what they're saying, but all you can hear is just glasses clanking around.
I mean, I could do subtitles, but I also like, I don't know.
I feel like anytime
I don't really like subtitles for like English stuff. I don't know why.
Subtitles are like an iffy thing because I know that they're really helpful, but at the same time, like I always feel like I'm focusing on reading them
and way too much attention to the actual subtitle when I don't need to be, when I could just be listening. Like even in parts where I can hear, I physically am like always just like,
Exactly. Anytime like I can hear something, but like subtitles are on, I always find myself just reading the subtitles, and I'm just like, I don't know why I'm doing this. Like I can hear what they're saying. It's just
especially like now, like because I've been watching Naruto like crazy, and literally like I've been watching in Japanese because the Hulu doesn't have the English dubs for some reason. So I've been watching it all in Japanese. And so like, I'm very focused on just like having to read that. So once I switch to something else where I don't have to read it, like my brain doesn't click that I don't have to read it.
You're just automatically looking at the bottom of the screen.
Just down here like this.
Just like, what? Yeah, I feel like the subtitles they're a tricky thing because sometimes they're like I said, I just find myself reading them way too much, even whenever I like don't need to. It's just like I want to make sure I catch everything they're saying, but then I'm so focused on that, then I'm not paying attention to like what's going on.
Yeah,
like
every time, like I feel like as like a movie or show goes on, I'll start to like be okay. Like I'll whenever you first fine. Yeah, when I first start, it bugs me. I'm like, why am I just staring at these subtitles? I don't need to read them right now.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I get you. I know what you mean.
Yeah.
I know what you mean.
I also watched. I just watched Judas and the Black Messiah. I think this is the last day it's on HBO Max. I read that on Twitter, so I was like, I've been wanting to watch it.
It is.
Hopped in, watched it. I don't know who directed this. I think it's like something King. I don't know if it's like their first time. If they're a first time director. Hold up, let me Letterboxd. My favorite website. Here we go.
Shaka King.
Yep, Shaka King. Yeah, so this is. It doesn't look like it's their. No, it's not their directorial debut, but dude, it was like really good show or movie.
I'm really sad. I wonder if I could watch. Like I said, I tried watching it on HBO Max on my Roku.
Yeah,
and like every time I did, it just popped up in like the corners, like your device is overheating.
Roku, if you're listening, can you please fix Dylan's device? Thank you.
Yes, please. But
yeah, it was really good. It's like about this dude who. So Judas and the Black Messiah, it's like literally like biblical, where it's like there's this guy who like infiltrates the Black Panther Party, and he's like working for the FBI.
Yeah,
basically
to take down Fred Hampton, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Leader of the Black Panther Party, or like a certain part of the Black Panther Party. But dude, like the whole like him and who was it? So Daniel Kaluuya plays Fred.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Lakeith
Stanfield plays
Bill O'Neill.
Yeah.
I just got
dude, they are like they are so good. Like I love Lakeith Stanfield and like everything, because I was the guy who when Sorry to Bother You came out, I was like, that's the best movie of the year.
Like, I remember when it first came out, I wanted to see it in theaters, and like nobody I knew wanted to go with me.
Sorry to Bother You?
Yeah, like when it first came out, and like nobody wanted to go with me, and then like I couldn't find it in theaters because I remember
it was like a weird release where it was
it wasn't like a really big thing. It was just kind of like, select theaters. So like I couldn't find anybody to go with. I couldn't find a theater that was showing it, so I never watched it. And I think is it still up on Hulu? Do you know?
I'm not sure, but I do remember it was like featured on Hulu for a while. But dude, such a good show, or such a good movie.
Yeah,
like I love it. It's bonkers, like it's crazy, so stylized. Like, and then by the end of it, you're like, what is going on?
It's still on my list of movies to watch, and hopefully I can get to it here pretty soon. It's always
I also think it's kind of long. I think it might be a longer movie.
I don't know. It's always a task to get to movies, because like I have so many shows.
You have like 20. Yeah, you have 20 seasons of shows to go through.
Well, like I have so many so there's shows that I watch collectively throughout the week that are like, actually being released. Like Flash. I
like stuff that comes out.
Yeah. So like stuff, but it's so weird because COVID has completely like.
Yeah, everything's on pause. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, everything's been like shifted.
Waiting for This Is Us. When's that going to come back? I feel like it's had that episode for.
It's been back, but.
Well, no, I watched like the first half of the season or whatever, but like I'm waiting for more because I feel like it just stopped.
Dude, what was the last episode? Do you remember?
I don't remember.
Did you? I feel like, I don't know. Did you see any episodes that came out this year?
Yeah.
Okay. I wasn't sure because I was.
But like they came out and now they just stopped.
Yeah, that's the weird thing, because with COVID, everything. So like everything
they're filming like as much as they can, and then they're just like putting out like that little sliver.
Like, so like everything that was supposed to come out in like, because normally like the TV show season starts in like September, so like stuff got like shifted around. So like there's stuff that like started like their season in November, December, stuff that just started in like January, and then like so like they're kind of like peppering it through, and then not all the episodes are finished yet, so they're just releasing stuff like here and there. So like I'm trying to keep up with all of that, and trying to make sure I have like all of those shows that are like coming out throughout the week. I'm trying to make sure I have those watched. And then once I do, by the time I'm finished with all those, it's like late. So that's whenever I throw on like, Justice League and all that. I don't really have time for the movies. So
I'm like, I'm the opposite. I'm literally just a movie guy where like I literally watch shows because me and Jen watch shows. Like that's our thing that we do whenever we get home from work. Like, So like we literally just go show after show. Like we'll finish a show and then we'll just like go, all right, what else can we find? And then we find something, and like it's always just like something random that we just like, oh, I heard this was good like 4 years ago, like Mindhunter.
That's basically what I do, except I do it by myself.
Yeah. But yeah, so Judas and the Black Messiah was good. I think I gave it 4 out of 5 on Letterboxd. Go check me out on Letterboxd of All the Hut. Give that a follow.
Well, I'll give the first 20 minutes that I saw a 4 out of 5. It was pretty good.
You gotta start logging more on Letterboxd.
I do. Again, I don't watch a whole lot. I wish there was
Letterboxd.
They have a section for like TVs.
They put TV shows on there. I personally don't rate them just because I like to try to keep it clean with like my movie ratings and stuff. But like WandaVision's on there. Speaking of WandaVision.
It's twilight time.
Wanda and Vision, aren't we a 5-pair?
This is our home now. I want us to fit in.
Oh, this is gonna be a gas.
Where did you two move
This
from?
I thought it was for their first foray into like
so explain MCU. Like what's going on here. Like Marvel is doing these Disney Plus series now. Disney Plus is like a big streaming service, obviously, and Marvel has started their first, as you were about to say, foray. Is that the word?
Well, I mean, it's technically not their first foray.
Not their first TV.
Because we have Daredevil and all that, but it's their first MCU, everything connected type show.
Yeah.
So for their first foray into connecting the shows to the movies and all that, I think it was, I think I'm at like,
okay, slow down. Wait. Don't get into overall your love for it. Hold on. So I know because I also feel the same. So this was actually not supposed to be. This is the first thing Marvel that we've seen since Endgame.
No, is there first thing we've seen since? Well, okay.
So no, sorry. Spider-Man: Far From Home. Yeah,
but I mean, in their universe,
in that phase. What's this phase?
This is phase 4 now. We're in phase 4 now.
Yeah, so this is like officially the start of phase 4.
Yeah,
which is weird because it was supposed to be.
Yeah, it wasn't supposed to be. Although, like in the MCU, this happens like 3 weeks after Endgame.
I did.
Far From
read
Home
that.
Takes place like 6 months or something.
Yeah,
like
I read something like that where like Spider-Man time is just like weird and dumb.
Well, I mean, like this has happened like with other stuff too. Like the Black Widow movie that's coming out is going to take place in between Civil War or after Civil War and then before
Infinity War.
Yeah. So it takes place after Civil War, and then
for some reason I had it in my head that it was like during or after like the blip or whatever. But you're right. Yeah, you're right. It's after Civil War.
Yeah, it's after Civil War. So like, you know how like in phase
it's
1,
like they go into hiding and then like it's whenever she's like in her hiding.
It's happening. I'm imagining this is happening during the same time as Spider-Man: Homecoming, because we see Peter getting home with Tony in the beginning of that.
Yeah.
From Germany, and this is also happening at the same time. This is also happening at the same time as Black Panther.
Yeah, that makes
whenever
sense.
he's going. So that's when this is occurring.
This is like anyways, back to Wanda.
Yeah.
That was a tangent. So, well, I'm curious what your expectations were going in beforehand. They did like the big Hall H type announcement. I don't think it was Hall H, but they did like the big announcement of their run of stuff that they were going to do. And when we heard about WandaVision, they said it was going to be like their first sitcom Marvel show. And I'm curious what your first like thoughts were on that.
So my first thoughts were Well, obviously excitement. I love the MCU.
Yeah,
and everything
Marvel
about it.
sign me up. Cool.
I was
Doesn't take much.
They could do literally anything, and I would be like,
Vision
I'm there.
sits on a toilet. The Disney Plus series.
I would be like, I'm there. What is he thinking while he's on that toilet? What's going on? What's going on in that brain of his? So as soon as they announced it, I was sold. The only thing that I was really confused on was, I'm like, Vision's dead. So what's going on? I'm like, what are we doing?
Oh yeah, by the way, this is spoilers for anything up until WandaVision. We're going full spoilers on the whole WandaVision thing.
So I was like, okay, he got his mind. He died twice. All right, in Infinity War, he got blown up by the woman he loved, and then he got his
and then he got blown up by Purple.
Yeah. So I was real confused about how it was going to work, but I was still excited. And then, that was what? Oh my God, that was 2019.
That was like
that was 2019.
Yeah, that was like 2 years ago.
That was 2019. They announced it, and then so COVID happened, and we were supposed to get
Black Widow was supposed to come out in theaters like literally a month before or after like lockdown happened.
Yeah, so Black Widow was supposed to come out in May of 2020, and then Eternals was supposed to come out in November of 2020, and then
Eternals was supposed to come out too.
Oh no,
beforehand.
No, this is
so crazy.
I think this was how it was supposed to come out. It was supposed to be Black Widow in May, Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Yeah, in August. I knew that was supposed to be beforehand.
Then it was going to be, I think it was Eternals was supposed to come out in November, and then WandaVision was going to be December, but because COVID messed everything up, WandaVision became the first for Phase 4, and I think they started it off with a bang. I mean,
I honestly can't imagine like WandaVision not starting this off, to be honest. I think that the way that they like this felt like a right start to like this new phase. I don't know why.
So. I think it might be because I'm all for Black Widow, love Black Widow, would love to see her movie, can't wait for it, excited. But I think that having this come first was also important because this happens 3 weeks after the book and everybody comes back. And so we're seeing the perspective of not only Wanda, but we're also seeing the perspective of oh my God, Monica. Yeah, Monica. As they are coming back from the blip, and the people that they love most didn't make it. So I think it's a
I think it is. I think you're right that it is like because it feels so directly related to Endgame. Like it feels like okay, this is post Endgame. Like Endgame happened. And now we're moving on with what's happening with these characters now that Endgame's over.
Yeah, and I like I said, I would love 100% going to see Black Widow, but I think having this start off Phase 4 definitely feels more correct because I don't know, it's just like
Black Widow I think would have felt like just like a one-off action movie, like a cool in-between. But I don't know if it. I mean, we haven't seen the movie, so we don't really know. But I feel like it would have felt more like a fun like in between. Like this isn't super consequential to the rest of what's going to happen in the future. You know?
Yeah,
maybe it is. I don't know.
I think again, having WandaVision come first was very. It feels very right because again, we're dealing with the grief and all of that. And then, knowing what's coming out later this year, I think it makes more sense because I mean, I've heard that Yelena, who's in the movie with the character Yelena, who's one of the Black Widows. Know who that is. She's one of the Black Widows with Natasha.
Black Widow.
Yeah, they're the Black Widows. But I heard that she is going to be in the Hawkeye series, and that's coming later this year. So I don't know. I feel like it's all kind of working itself out.
Complete side note: the guy in Mindhunter, he looks like an old Jeremy Renner.
Really?
Like, how are they not related? I literally Googled, are they related? Like, he should play his dad at some point. because they are just like spitting image. Like it's so
maybe
weird.
maybe Marvel's playing a long game.
Hey, maybe. But yeah, I was super excited for when I first heard about like the sitcom-iness of it.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, yes, just because it sounds so different and like weird. And I think one thing after Endgame that I was kind of like nervous about is anything going to be as like, am I going to be as dedicated?
Mm-hmm.
Like we had like this whole Infinity Saga that was like
20
movies,
10 years
like,
of story building.
It was like all about these Infinity Stones, and now that's all just gone and that's done.
Mm-hmm.
And we're literally starting like fresh, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like to start fresh, like they literally did like a fresh, like new type of storytelling, like to start it all off. So let's jump into the episodes. Episode 1, it literally just jumps in. Like they don't explain anything. They're literally just like black and white sitcom, Wanda and Vision. I remember when I first started watching, I was like, they didn't like say anything. They just were just like,
I just had a big grin on my face. I started watching. I had a big grin on my face because I was like, first MCU content in over a year. So I was like,
so we were so excited. Starved.
So I was like so excited. And then it just starts off with them driving their car into Westview, being a family. And then
those just theme songs throughout, like all the theme songs, dude, so great. It's like WandaVision.
They were absolute
how great.
Absolute bangers. I mean, I loved it. And then watching it, I mean,
it's like the I Love Lucy style, black and white.
Dick Van Dyke, that type. And I loved how they did it because it felt exactly like that. I mean,
yeah, they did a really good job of just like matching it. Like, I think that one of the I personally would love to just see a WandaVision show that is all sitcoms, and like I would watch a season of each of those like different decades that they do, because like I feel like the I Love Lucy 50s era stuff was probably my favorite out of all of it.
I loved watching it too. It was just so fun.
Just because like I love that era and I love those shows. Like,
yeah.
And I think that one thing that needs to be said about WandaVision is like Elizabeth Olsen and Paul Bettany are just like insanely like talented, so good. And like so like likable, and like you just like they're so perfect to like go along the ride with.
Yeah,
like they literally had to play so many parts throughout the show, and they just like nailed all of them.
They nailed like how their characters would act in those decades, and then like
they're playing a character in a character, basically. Like
and it was real fun to watch, especially when I really got a kick out of I wanted to say Paul Bettany, but then I was like, I also got a kick out of Elizabeth Olsen. So I don't know, they absolutely crushed.
They were great. Yeah. I loved I feel like Elizabeth Olsen just like did like that 50s style, like so like quirky and like fun. And like I think of like the moment when she like falls back, she's like, whoa, like
she's just like whoa into Mr. Hart's hands or whatever. Yeah. I loved how Paul played the Vision, just
like it was like the Vision like, in this 50s era is just like so like it
really did remind me of Dick Van Dyke, and I'm a big fan of Dick Van Dyke, so just seeing him like be able to portray that was pretty.
Hey, look at that. Look at the menu.
But it was really cool to just see him like get into the role and like ham it up and be like,
they were hamming it up. All right. But not in a bad way though.
It was
I feel like it could have been done badly where it was like cringe.
But it was the perfect what's the word, performance. Like they portrayed it exactly how they did in like the 50s, you know.
Yeah.
They acted like the same way, like
Yeah.
It was really great. I thought it was
I think
spot on.
I think so. The first two episodes, the first one's supposed to be the 50s, and then the second one is like the 60s era, which is like
Bewitched.
Bewitched, yeah. And that's the
Which
episode that has
they absolutely nailed the Bewitched. I mean, because you know we know that she's the witch, but I mean,
all
like,
the
so
all
perfect.
like the little like things of just like the special effects in it too, or it was like these little like wire things that they did.
I loved it.
Was like even all that just felt like so right.
Yeah, and I love that whenever well we're kind of dipping into the behind the scenes.
Yeah, we could dip into it a little bit.
Yeah, but
they did it behind the scenes for WandaVision after WandaVision came out.
Yeah, and I loved just hearing them talk about like not just Paul and Elizabeth, but like all the other actors too, like the side characters like Deborah Jo Rupp, who played Kitty in that 70s show, and how she was in there.
When she showed up, I was like, this feels right. Like she's so perfect for like this era and stuff, and like just like the sitcominess of it, like because I love that 70s show. So when I saw her, I was like, yes.
Yeah, and like so like they like I said, they absolutely nailed the just the effects and the time period and getting the clothes right, and then the special effects and everything. They got it all right, and I really love that. And
seeing the behind the scenes of like how they did that stuff was like very cool. How they did like a legit sitcom, like they put it like as if they were shooting a sitcom.
Yeah, and they put in like an actual audience to watch.
I know that I was surprised by that when I saw.
I thought for sure that they had just like did like the like little laugh track thing.
Yeah, imagine getting to go and
see that
live
filmed.
That'd have been so cool.
God, oh man,
it would have been weird seeing Paul Bettany in his all blue makeup and just trying
that threw me for a loop. But it was also interesting hearing them explain like why they had to do that, because like
because the color, it was because the way that if he had been painted red,
it would have looked like
it would have showed up wrong on black and white.
Exactly.
Like it's just the color would have been off. So they had to paint him blue to make the color look right on black and white, which was I think it's another thing that it's so weird that like Elizabeth Olsen and Paul Bettany have to act like with like this Vision makeup, which is just ridiculous. Like
I don't know
she has to like kiss him and stuff.
I don't know how you can keep like such a straight face whenever you see something like that. I mean,
trying to have like a romantic scene, and I would just be like busting out loud, I'm kissing this blue guy. Like
it's just so crazy to think about. But yeah, I don't know. But also like, if I understood right, they did that for Vision for like all this, not the blue makeup, but like that kind of
it was all CG where it was
which if I remember right, I love seeing them advance and stuff, but if I remember right, for like Age of Ultron in 2015, like it was all,
I think like Age of Ultron had stuff. Practical with like
with
a CG like CG. Add on,
but like they had, I thought that they had like the ears stuff and all
I was kind of surprised by like it being all digital too.
Yeah, I was like, whoa, I was like, that's a step up, because
that's one part where I turned, because Jen was watching it with me, and I turned around and was like, isn't it like ridiculous that like all that is just like CG? Like it looks so
so real,
and like, it looks weird, and it's kind of weird that they wouldn't just do it real. Like it's probably just because of how uncomfortable it is to like because wear all that and how much time it takes to put it all on.
I could have sworn that like a few years ago I saw, and it was like a picture of Paul, and he had the Vision like red face on, and then but he also had like the ears, the ears and stuff, like they were all like practical. So whenever I first saw that, whenever I first saw that, I was like, whoa, they changed that up. I was like, but good for them, like, because I couldn't tell
if they can do it. I mean, it was obviously like seamless.
Yeah, I mean,
that's what works for them.
So well done. But
yeah, they did. So the second episode, they do like the magic show, which I think the whole thing with Vision having gum like clogging him up. I thought that was just like hilarious. I thought like it's just so corny and dumb, but like it just works in this like setting. Basically,
it cracked me up because I love that whole scene whenever he like goes to join the neighborhood watch, and they're all like talking in the library, and they're like talking or whatever.
Yeah.
And then they say something to Vision, and Vision's like, "Oh no, I don't eat." And then they all just kind of like stop and look at him, and he's like, "Oh no!" And then they're all like, "Oh no, he's joking. He's such a joker," and all that. I absolutely loved it. But I also love that, like in the first two episodes, as much as they did, like they nailed the what they were going for with like the style and the era and all that. I also love that like they did the subtle nods to not everything is right here. Like
just like some eerie moments.
Yeah, like in episode 1, Dinner with the Hearts, whenever he was like choking, Mr. Hart was choking or whatever, and then like they're at the dinner table.
She's like, stop it.
Yeah,
stop it.
Deborah Jo Rupp is just like, she's just like losing it. And then like Vision's just like, want to help him. Or no, she's like, Vision, help him.
Vision's just like sitting there like, I don't know what's going on with Vision.
Yeah. I just loved how like those first two episodes, they like.
And the BTS, they like explain it as like Twilight Zone episodes.
Yeah, which
or again, like moments.
I love that because the Twilight Zone was
also
cool.
I mean,
it was great. And then I also love that how they mentioned that like each of those things leads her to like cause the TV show that they're in to shift to the next era. All like the different like pressure,
like it's like whenever she feels like pressured to like whenever things were going wrong, things were going wrong,
not going right, she like changes the era.
It's kind of funny. I didn't even like think of that until I watched
until
BTS.
Until they said that, because like whenever I stopped and thought about it, I was like, yeah, because at the end Mr. Hart almost chokes, and they're having this moment, and then it goes to 60s, but you might not notice because it's still black and white. But then
that's one thing. There's something in all that I'll save for like our dislikes, because there is like something in that I'm like kind of not confused by, but I'm like, it doesn't make sense, but also it's just like whatever. I'll just say right now, like I don't really understand why she's putting out this like broadcast. Like, why is this getting broadcasted? I don't understand that at all. Like why? There was no reason for it. Like what's her name? Darcy? Is that her name?
I like to think of it as she's not really aware that she's doing.
She just like happened to do it just because that's like the world that she built.
Well, yeah, because a little bit ahead of ourselves, but as we see later on, that's how the TV shows and classic TV shows is that's where she felt the most comfort. So I don't know, maybe in her way that was her trying to share, maybe this is how I'm comfortable.
Yeah. Let's just like hold on it until we get to that point.
Yeah. So let's see, 50s and 60s.
Yeah. So they did the 50s, 60s. They did the 70s episode, which is so by the end of the 60s episode, it goes all color.
Yeah, that's because that's when
that Wanda's pregnant, right?
Yeah, because that was when the guy found his way, the sword agent found his way inside in the beekeeper outfit. And then she's like, no, and literally just Uno reversed it.
Next.
Yeah, just Uno reversed it, and then all of a sudden we're in the 70s.
Yeah. So what was the 70s? What shows were those supposed to be? 70s? I honestly don't remember.
70s, I think it was supposed to be Brady Bunch and Partridge Family.
Yeah,
that type of feeling. Which, man, again, it's hard to like explain how much I loved like how they did this, because I've seen a lot of these TV shows as well.
Just like seeing how they like correlate to each TV show.
Yeah, so I mean, I've grown up seeing like a lot of these different TV shows like Dick Van Dyke, Bewitched, all this, I Love Lucy. So it was really cool to see him do the Brady Bunch, which I loved how they did it. I got a kick out of it whenever whenever they're in the house and her water breaks and like the sprinklers
starts
are, like,
raining. Yeah.
Just like, I think my water broke. And
Yeah,
then
all the little gags of like whenever she's having like or like things are just going wrong everywhere.
Yeah.
Like stuff, signs are spinning and stuff like that. Like that was all really cool. And is that the episode where she finds out that Monica is with Sword? Is that when she throws her out?
Yeah. We don't see that until the next episode.
Don't we see it at the end of it though?
So it ends with like Wanda is talking to her and she's like, "What are you doing here? You're not supposed to be here." And then it kind of cuts away and then Vision is outside talking and he's like noticing Agnes.
Yeah, you're right. She just disappears, huh?
Yeah, and then so he comes back in and then he's like, "Where's Monica?" And then she's like, "She had to go," or whatever. And then yeah, it was the next episode where we find out Monica's side of the story.
Can we talk about one thing right here?
Go.
I have a question for you.
Go.
Is Scarlet Witch, is Wanda like a villain in this show? Like, is she a bad person in this show? Because I would kind of argue, yeah.
I can see both sides. I mean,
definitely like a reason for her being bad.
Yeah,
but she does some pretty terrible stuff.
Yeah, but I don't think that she really meant. Whenever it started off, I don't think she meant to do it.
I don't think she realized what she was doing. Exactly.
It was very much an accident, I think, whenever it first started. And then she just kind of told herself that it's better this way. I think, and she
better
was
for
able
her.
to, yeah, better. Well, I think she also probably thought that she might be bettering these other people's lives too, because, and again, getting a little ahead, but in that episode, whenever we see like how she came to Westview and all that, when she's like looking around and we see Deborah Jo Rupp's character, who becomes Mrs. Hart. She's just sitting there in front of that cafe, like all by herself, and she looks, pretty lonely. So I don't know if maybe Wanda convinced herself these people are happy here, and I'm happy here, and
like I'm making their lives better too, not just mine.
So I'm not sure if I definitely whenever it started, it was an accident, but then at some point she did realize what she was doing.
Is this third episode the episode where Vision like does the thing to what's his face's head, or is that later on? Is that when we first see that like these people are like trapped?
I think that is, yeah. I think that is the first.
I think it's either this one or like
it's either
I think it's either this one or episode 5, which is into the so after the 70s, Wanda has her baby. So the 70s show is like all about her having her baby. Like she's like getting pregnant. And then she has her baby at the end. Monica gets kicked out, and then we go into Monica's backstory for this next episode,
which I love. I love that. I love the whole thing, but I loved seeing that episode.
This is when we jump out of sitcom mode.
Yeah, and I think it was really well done and really important that we saw that opening sequence of that episode. Seeing
with like
not only
people getting snapped and then snapped back.
Yeah, so seeing Monica like reassemble that, which I thought was really cool, because we got to see how everybody got
the scene with the hospital just being like chaotic with people coming back and just like I was like, where's blah, blah, blah.
I watched so the first 3 episodes I watched like later on in the day, like around 1 p.m.
Did they release them all the first 3 back to back or no?
No, it was just the first 2, and then after the first 2 they did weekly. So the first 3 episodes I watched like at like 1 p.m. During the day, and then episodes 4 through 9 I watched like as soon as they dropped at midnight, and I can't explain how like just seeing it I felt like so. Like
chills.
Well, yeah, because I could kind of put myself into that and just like imagine like
how it would be.
Yeah, if you had gotten snapped out of existence and then came back 5 years later.
And you didn't know, obviously. Like it was just like
you're just like, well,
it was like a second went by for them, probably.
Yeah. Her first thought was, where's my mom at? And then just seeing like everybody in the hospital was running around, like, as I assume these people are snapping back, because when the Hulk snapped, he snapped everybody into a safe place. So obviously nobody's like being snapped up into the air in airplanes that aren't there.
And then they just fall down.
Yeah, no. So
I've never thought of that.
Yeah, no.
They get snapped back where they were. People fall out of the air.
Well, that's a question a lot of people had whenever they like discussed the snap. Like if they were in an airplane that was like flying over, where would they be snapped back to? So we know that Hulk snapped him back to a safe space. So I mean, I don't know, I'm sure there are people in the hospital who probably got snapped while they were there, but I don't know, maybe there was like other people.
Yeah, I'm sure that it's just fuzzy. It's like they're not going to explain it or anything. It's not really anything needs to be explained.
But seeing that and seeing that chaos, I don't know, I got chills because it was crazy.
Chaos was cool. I mean, I think there was like a part where somebody gets snapped back and they like run into somebody else. So like immediately when they come back, they just like bump into somebody. And that was like cool. It was just like this guy comes out of thin air. But yeah, that whole opening was really cool. I think it ends with like Monica just being in shock that her mom died.
Yeah,
and then it cuts to her going to Sword. Right?
Mm-hmm. And then meeting Hayward.
What are your thoughts on Hayward overall?
I think he can be a good villain later on down the line, because he, in a way,
I hope we never see him again.
I mean, I hope so too. But if
he was like just like this weird, like he needed to be in the show, but like he was just like this, like such a generic villain,
Yeah,
he felt like a villain of the week type thing, where it was just like this off thing, where it was just like, even in like we jump to the end where like he gets like he ends up having like no consequence, basically. Like he was this thing there.
He just got arrested.
That was just to like antagonize everybody else. Hayward's a douche.
There were some things that I thought would have been cool, like if they had revealed him to be.
We'll get into the theories at the end. Here, I'll add that to the outline. Theories that didn't come true.
Yeah, but yeah, I loved that whole episode, seeing Monica and what was going on outside of the hex, and like us finally getting filled in on what exactly is going on. And then I loved Team Rambo with her, Jimmy Woo, and Darcy. The three of them.
Seeing Darcy, personally, I think Darcy's my favorite out of all those.
I think Jimmy was my favorite.
Seeing Darcy come back for me was just like so great, because I always loved her in the Thor movies.
Oh yeah, I mean, immediately like her first scene coming back was just like sarcasm, like right off the bat, because like they were in that van or whatever, and like they're like explaining what all they do or whatever, and then she's just like makes some snarky comment. I was just like,
she's great. I love her.
Yeah. She's great. I loved Jimmy Woo's character in Ant-Man and the Wasp, so I was really glad they brought him back. There's something about him where he just like he wants to be friendly with everybody, and I don't know, something about his character that just
he's cool. I wouldn't say he's like one of my favorite characters, but he was definitely like entertaining in the show. Like I honestly didn't even get the reference whenever he did the card trick at the first time, until like,
how did you not get that?
Until people told me later. It's because I didn't even remember him from like Ant-Man and the Wasp, so I was just
man. You gotta rewatch Ant-Man and the Wasp.
I remember that movie being good. I think Ant-Man's fine, but I do really like Ant-Man and the Wasp.
I think everybody hates on the Ant-Man series too much, but we're saving that for a different day.
That'll be a different argument. Yeah. So we're on the Monica Rambeau story. This is obviously the daughter of, I don't remember her name, something Rambeau, the girl from Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
So Captain Marvel's friend. She was a kid in Captain Marvel, and now we're seeing her as a sword agent because it turned out her mom was like a founder of Sword.
Maria.
Correct?
Yeah. Captain Maria Rambeau.
Maria Rambeau.
Yeah. Yeah, her mom. Yeah. Yeah. So, which I like that they went that route. It's cool to see. I'm really excited that they brought Sword into this because I mean I
don't know much about Sword.
So Sword is kind of
like Space Shield, right?
Exactly. That's essentially like what it is. They monitor for threats that are coming from beyond.
I wish we had them earlier. Might have helped.
Probably would have helped.
2012.
But yeah, so I'm really excited to see how Sword evolves going forward.
I'm sure Sword will keep playing a big role.
I definitely think they will. I'm wondering who exactly is in charge of Sword now.
Isn't it Monica now?
I think, right? But I don't know.
I think so. I don't know. I don't remember.
I think so. But we'll see.
Yeah. So how does so with Monica we see like her backstory of like her coming back and going to Sword. I don't remember a lot of like what happens after that. Like whenever she goes and has that conversation with Hayward. She gets sent to the Hex where she meets Wu, and then
she gets sent to the Hex, gets sucked in, and then that's when
she gets sucked in right there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, she does. Yeah.
And then that's when Sword sets up their little base outside
because they're like she went missing. What the heck?
Yeah, and then Darcy figures out the signal thing, and then it's basically going through, and then it ends with
her
what we
shot out, right?
Yeah. So it ends with what we didn't see in the previous episode, which was Wanda going kind of creepy crazy there, and then she just flings her out. And so that's how that ends, and then we go to the 80s.
Into the 80s, yeah. So that in the 80s, the kids are babies. I have this vision of Vision, just like holding the baby whenever he's like him and her going towards each other. I just have that stuck in my head. I don't know why. Him and his like, what is he wearing? He's wearing like a sweater or something. They're just like talking to each other.
It's so funny seeing
burned into my brain.
It's so funny seeing Vision
as Vision in normal clothes.
and just like normal clothes,
Yeah.
But I don't know. There's something about it. I love seeing him get to be a dad in the episode, and there's something fun about it. And yeah, I don't know. It did feel very, very much like Full House.
This episode definitely felt Full Housey. Yeah. Even the background, like with the stairs going up, the way they did, it literally looks like Full House.
And I don't know, there's just something about it. It was done so well.
Yeah. So this is like getting into like some of the shows that we like really grew up with and watched.
Yeah,
because they were on Nick at Night constantly.
So this is when we start getting the stuff that like you and I know a lot more about. So like
the babies, so they have the babies, and the babies start like aging rapidly.
Yeah, I also love how in this episode we get to see that in like the comedic style whenever they're like they get the dog and they're like watching him in the sink
till you're 10.
And then they're like talking to him, and then they're like, when can we get a dog? And they're like, well, 10 seems like a good age. And then all of a sudden they're like, no. And then they age up until they're 10 years old, and then they're like, okay, I guess we have a dog.
All rats, yeah.
And
what was the dog's name? Like Scrappy or something like that?
Sparky.
Oh, yeah.
Sparky. Yeah. And then this is whenever Vision starts to get suspicious because he starts to notice Agnes popping up like right as soon as they like need something or say something.
We haven't really talked much about Agnes.
Yeah, we really haven't.
I think we let's save our Agnes discussion until probably not the end of this episode, but I think the end of next episode, or no, maybe the episode after that. So yeah, this whole episode is mostly about like the kids, right? It's just like kids
and then
growing up and running around doing their thing,
and Vision slowly come into the
Vision's getting
realization.
sus,
Because
this is the one where like they like go in like the living room and they like fly up and start yelling at each other, right?
Yeah.
By the end of it.
Yeah, because he's like, something's not right. That's when he did the thing to Norm, and they found out that like he only said
this episode.
Yeah. So that's whenever he was like, help, she's keeping us here, and then he's like, ooh, and then so this is whenever I think it starts to get to the like turning point when you're like, okay, what the heck is going on here?
Yeah, I mean, the whole show is very like, what the heck is going on here?
Like, something's not right, but this is a part where like,
this is where it's like literally like the real world and this sitcom is starting to bleed.
Yeah,
together.
and so I think also, and what was interesting was that like, whenever it first started, everybody was immediately like, okay, this is somebody's controlling Wanda, like it's got to be one, somebody controlling Wanda, and then we get to this point, and I think that's when things started to change, because everybody's like, maybe nobody's controlling Wanda, maybe it's actually Wanda.
Wanda's just being Wanda.
Maybe so you're not entirely sure what to believe, I think, at this point. And then boy, how about that cliffhanger ending?
Man, the end when Quicksilver shows up. Not Quicksilver from the MCU, but Quicksilver from X-Men, like the movies from Fox. Dude, when I tell you, like, I don't think I've ever had like, sure I have, my goosebumps where I think I cried nerd tears just from like my like shock and like excitement.
Like I said, I watched all the episodes at midnight, so I'm sitting there watching, and I'm like, okay. They're gonna. I was like, are they gonna like start like actually like physically fighting here? And then there's that knock on the door. I'm like, okay, I was like, what's going on? And then she opens up the door. I'm like, okay, it's about to be Quicksilver. And then it cuts. It cuts. Well, yeah, but then whenever it cut to that like the shot of the back of his head, I was like,
you're like it's Quicksilver.
My eyes got so big, my jaw dropped, and I'm like, no, that was like, there's no way that they did this. And then like,
I called you the next day, like freaking out.
They turned it around, and then I saw it was him, and like immediately after that, I was like, I'm like laying in bed. I was watching it on my phone, with my headphones in, so that way I wouldn't bother anybody. And I'm like,
and this is like probably where like the theory stuff.
This is where fan
really
theories
takes off.
Fan theories
starts going. I think this is where this is like the point in the show. I feel like on like Twitter and stuff, I hadn't heard much about the show, like leading up to this.
Oh, I mean, I had, but like
it wasn't like it wasn't. People weren't like super excited about it. I guess like it wasn't trending or anything.
It was mainly well for me. It was always on trending the next day, but it was always just like, oh my god, this is still like great. This, I love how they're doing this, and it's just overall like positive, stuff.
Yeah, definitely like positive vibes, but I wouldn't say it was but
there's no spoilers. There's no like theory stuff taken on. But then once this episode hit, I swear that's when like everything hit the fan, because everybody's like, they're like, okay, so Wanda created the portal into the X-Men universe, and then like people are like, it's Mephisto, he's definitely the devil.
Yeah.
Like,
so I personally am not like a big like, I don't really go like look at theories online or anything when I'm like watching stuff.
But at this point,
no, I still didn't. But my brother, we had a conversation after that episode, and he was telling me that like, it might have been a couple episodes later, but he said that like after that episode, he was literally just like jumping on Reddit, like the next, like right after he watched it, he would just jump on Reddit and just see what people were talking about, because everybody had these crazy theories about what was going on. And
I never went looking for any of the theories. They always just kind of fell into my lap. Yeah, they was just like on the trending and stuff. But yeah, I remember after that episode dropped, I texted everybody that I knew that watched the show right there at like midnight. I was like, hey, don't go on.
Vision.
I was like, don't go on Twitter tomorrow because it will get spoiled.
Yeah, I had to remember to stay away from Twitter for every Friday, just like Mandalorian. Mandalorian was worse. Mandalorian was a lot worse for Twitter spoilers. I don't think I saw any Twitter spoilers for WandaVision.
I told my friend, I was like, hey, make sure you got stuff blocked for
keywords.
Keywords blocked on Twitter and all that. And he's like, will do. And then like after the episode ended, I was like, dude, definitely you're gonna see. I was like, definitely you're gonna want to stay away. And then he was like, I think I just saw something get spoiled. And I was like, what did you
just say?
I was like, what do you think you saw? And then he's like, well, I saw Pietro was trending. And I was like, so he's like, can you tell me? I was like,
you don't want to know.
Yeah, I was like, yes, but I'm not going to say anything more than Pietro. I wanted that to be a surprise for him.
Yeah.
So and then whenever he watched it the next day, he was like, "Oh, he's like, it's Pietro from the."
Dude, I remember I was just like gushing you. I was like, "This changes everything. Yeah. Like they're gonna this is gonna connect to the X-Men, and they're gonna bring this in, and like by the end of WandaVision, like she's gonna open up some portal to like a different dimension, and like it's gonna turn out that Pietro." From a different dimension, and
I just like
man, and like
I was laying on my bed the next day, and then all of a sudden my phone starts ringing, and I see Matt, and I'm like, "Here we go."
We watched WandaVision.
I was like, "I know what this is about," and then I answered it, and then that was literally your first words was just, "This changes everything." And I'm thinking, I was like, "He's right. It does change everything."
So yeah, that episode ends with that. That's probably like I think that is like the peak of the show. Not as far as like it being good, but just as far as like
it's just like
this was this show was a hill, and that
imagine. Well, I was gonna say like just imagine we're like slowly as the show.
Coaster.
Yeah, it's like a roller coaster, and then like we get to that point, and then you think you're gonna go straight down, but it's just kind of like it's like. And then because then like it's just like a little dip, and then there's and then there's like a higher one right after that you're slowly building towards that you'll eventually get to, and then you'll get to
so the next episode is the Halloween episode, which is in the 90s now. This is like Malcolm in the Middle type stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because we got the kids like doing shenanigans. Uncle Pietro's here now, and he's just hamming it up. He is like literally just like this like ratty uncle that's staying over, and you really don't want him watching your kids, but he is.
But he's just there.
He's a terrible role model. Like he was pretty great in the show. I really liked. I enjoyed him.
I really thought that this episode was really fun because like. Not only did we get to see them having fun, but then we saw Vision going off on his own.
Yeah, when we saw Vision looking at like the edges of the hex.
Yeah,
that was really cool. Yeah,
because like he knew that something. Yeah, he knew something was
rehanging.
Yeah, he knew something was off, and then like he saw the part that like Wanda couldn't control really anymore because like she could have had control of
she had control of
that was like right there near the end of her hex, so like
it only came like to a certain extent, like the storylines weren't as fleshed out there.
And what was also interesting was seeing like this was probably our first inclination that Wanda she had nothing to do with Pietro because she was very
totally
confused.
Thrown off by it. And she's like confused. Questioning him like
throughout the episode.
We by now like at this point we know that Wanda's not the only cause, and I think we kind of like had an idea that it was. I think everybody kind of theorized that it wasn't just Wanda.
I think everybody knew that there was something else out there that was causing all this, but they did a good job at like throwing doubt, like I said, at that whenever in like
maybe
previous episodes.
Wanda, and I honestly probably would have been fine with it being just Wanda.
I think that
probably, and for the most part, it was just Wanda.
Yeah, but it was more along the lines of at first she didn't know she was doing it, and then she became aware, and then she just kind of she wanted to keep that perfect family, the thing that she never really got to have.
Her dream her dream family, her vision. Saw this thing on Twitter. Actually, I'll talk about it later. But the Halloween episode, we get to see everybody don their comic book accurate costumes.
I loved it.
Wanda's got her face thing, her M. Vision's got his Lucha Lord like pulled up shorts. Quicksilver's hair. I was expecting
not just the hair,
like
but I love the
lightning
little,
bolt.
Yeah, the little lightning bolt too. Like,
I was expecting because at this point, like we were thinking, oh, X-Men are coming. I was half expecting like Wanda to be like, "What's up with your hair?" and then him being like, "Oh, I was going for like a Wolverine look," or something like just like in a one-off like throwaway like that. But they didn't go that far.
It would have been funny. It would have been funny though.
So yeah, we have the Halloween episode. Vision looks
outside,
around, and then he gets out of the hex.
That part
like disintegrating.
That part was hard to watch. It was very sad because you could see. It hurts.
He's just getting torn to pieces, and he has no idea why.
And as he's getting torn to pieces, his only concern is for the people.
Yeah,
I mean,
help them. Yeah, and so Wanda. This is when Wanda expands.
Yeah, and then Wanda,
right, and makes it giant.
Yeah, she expands it, covers the sword base, makes it into a circus, and then
Darcy gets sucked into the hex,
and then that brings us into the 2000s episode.
This is the 2000s where it's Office style, Modern Family style.
It was the Modern Family and the Office mixed together.
I think that was my least favorite.
Really,
out of all the sitcom-y stuff, I think I like that one the least.
I loved it because I've watched Modern Family and The Office. I don't think you watched.
No, I haven't watched either.
So
not fully. I've watched some of The Office.
Yeah, I don't know. So maybe that's why. But I don't know. I've watched Modern Family and Office, and I love the comedic stylings of it.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I got joy. I loved all of it, but
maybe it's because I feel like I think I felt like nothing really happened that episode as far as the whole episode, because it's mostly just Wanda in her PJs, happy that the kids are gone,
and then she's realizing
kind of falling apart.
Yeah, she's realizing she can't control everything like she was, and
Vision's hanging out with Darcy. That was fun.
I love that part,
but still whatever.
And then simultaneously, Monica and Jimmy Woo are working.
Oh yeah, and is this when they have the tank that they try to drive in?
Yeah.
See that? I was like, whatever.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting because that was when Monica got her.
And Monica gets her powers, correct?
Yes, yeah.
The whole Monica powers stuff is where I started feeling like it was getting CWE, where it just for one, I don't think her powers looked good, with her eyes glowing and stuff. I thought it looked kind of funky, and it just felt like something that they tacked on because they had to set up something for the future for Captain Marvel 2.
I don't know. I think it all looked fine. It looked better than CW.
Definitely better.
not to brag, not to bag on CW there, but definitely looked better. But I think it made sense going forward.
I also think her outfit that she wore throughout that whole, I don't know why, but I hated it. her sword get up that had the little, I don't know why, it just looked horrible for me.
Well, that's
I'm sure it was reference. A comic.
It's like a reference.
I'm sure it was. I could tell because I thought it was just
think
really bad.
I think it was interesting because I really, again,
and this was something I told you whenever it happened.
Yeah. But I liked it because I think, again, Monica and Wanda's parallel, I think, is really interesting in the story because Wanda essentially volunteers to be the guinea pig to get the powers, because of what happened to her family and the loss and all that. And
they're both like going through a stage of grief at this point.
And so that was something that Wanda did to try to, I guess, get like back at the people that took her parents from her and like that kind of thing. And so she went looking for that in a way, but in this way, like Monica wasn't really looking for that. It just kind of happened by chance, you know. Mm-hmm. She was trying to help Wanda, and it just kind of fell in her lap. I don't know, just like in a way.
Yeah, I totally get what you mean by their like storylines, like the being parallel and like how they kind of like have to build on each other. I totally get that. I think that like in the end, it doesn't pay off as well as I would have liked, as far as like her part of the story like having any effect, I guess.
Ideally, and I would have liked it if they had made the episodes just like a little bit longer, you know, because like
just to flesh it out a bit more.
Yeah, like I get like that they had
these were all 30-minute episodes.
Yeah, 30-minute episodes. So I think if maybe they like gave it an extra, just like 5 minutes even, I think it would have been like probably done a little bit better, you know. You might not have felt like that, but I mean, personally, I don't see anything wrong.
I'm probably in the minority on that. I'm sure a lot of people liked I didn't have a problem with Monica. I actually thought she was cool. I just thought that like
you wish they like fleshed out her getting her.
I don't even know
the journey for.
I don't even know if I wanted it fleshed out. I think I wanted it maybe like less fleshed out. I thought that like her role became less important and they were still focusing on her a lot. I think that the whole first half of the series, her role was really important, and then I think it kind of fell off after she got her powers.
Well, I mean, she wasn't really in the next few episodes.
Yeah, so so we're in the thousands right now. Vision hangs out with Darcy, and then it ends with Wanda going into the basement looking for her kids
and finding
Agatha's.
Yeah,
and this is Agatha all along.
Yeah, and then first
thoughts on Agatha all along.
It's a banger. I love that song.
It was Agatha
did you
all along.
Did you hear that? Like it actually like it rose.
I heard it hit the charts.
Yeah, it hit the charts. Like everybody liked it. That's why I said
when I first
it's a banger. I was like,
when I first heard it, I was scared for because I think it's because this was the episode where Monica gets her powers, and then it ends with like Monica all along, and it just all felt kind of corny and cheesy to me, where I was kind of scared for where the show was turning. That like I felt that like obviously like this is like the end of like the sitcom part of the show.
Yeah.
And I was scared for what the future was going to be. I thought that it was going to end up being too I was scared.
I knew at some point I had a feeling, well, I don't know, maybe this is just because I've watched a lot of TV, but there's always a certain point where they do like a flashback or backstory episode where we see you know, so I knew we were getting that at some point, and I had a feeling that it would either be like tied into like the series finale, the last episode, or they would just dedicate a whole episode.
Yeah. So this next episode is, and I will say that my thoughts of like it being like turning the wrong way were like totally like wrong. Like immediately,
because
like, this next episode was a very like somber, like look at like grief.
It hit you hard. Yeah.
And it like was just like, it shows all of Wanda's backstory, her in Sokovia. We learned that she was a fan of sitcoms growing up and how she watched them with her family, and that's why like sitcoms that's why she's like basing her life right now, that her dream life off of these sitcoms. Still doesn't explain to me why she was broadcasting it, but like you said, maybe it's just like she did it on accident or whatever.
Did it on accident, was trying, or maybe it was because sitcoms helped her feel really happy as a kid.
I get why she turned her life into sitcoms. I don't get why it was broadcast.
because the sitcoms.
What are you going to do with a sitcom? You got a podcast. You got to show it to people.
No, because sitcoms brought her happiness and comfort and something more. So maybe she thought broadcasting her own might bring somebody else comfort or happiness or something.
Or it would tell people, hey, there's this Avenger on TV right now, and she's doing a sitcom with that dead robot guy. What's going on over there?
Well, nobody was able to.
Is that my aunt? Is that my aunt right there playing that? Why is she?
No, nobody even knew that she was broadcasting it until Darcy was able to like. So nobody would have known that it was being broadcast. I doubt. So,
but yes, we get Agatha all along. So then we go Wanda backstory.
Well, first we got a little bit of Agatha's backstory.
We did, yeah. That was the very beginning, right? We get the witchy stuff. Yeah, that felt kind of weird, but it was cool.
Yeah, like, well, I mean, I got a little chills there because I was like, man, are we actually going to see like,
it was a little witchy. It was more witchy than I expected.
Yeah, that's why I'm surprised. But also, like, it made me start thinking about like, how does this all work? Because I mean, like, you got the sorcerers.
Because we've seen magic before in MCU with Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
So that's why I was kind of like thrown off by the witchiness of it. I was this is like Salem witchy. This isn't like sorcerer witchy.
So I'm real confused. So like, what's the difference between sorcerers and witches?
I think it's probably just the type of thing where it's like, it's all magic, but like different people in different places just like have have adopted it in different ways and are named different things but
I don't know, I thought that was really interesting to see. I loved how it started off, seeing Agatha like being taken, and it wasn't by like townspeople or anything, it was by her own coven because she was practicing dark magic, and then they tried to kill her, and then she ended up just killing them
all out.
I was like, what the heck? And it was like really dark, and like,
who plays what's her name? Catherine Hahn, is that her name?
Catherine Hahn, yeah.
Dude, she was so great in this whole show. She was just like so like entertaining. Like her I loved her in the 50s episodes. Like she hammed it up just as well as like Elizabeth Olsen. Like she was beat for beat with her.
I think we'll definitely see her again at some point.
I agree. I think we'll get into it a little more.
We'll get into it. Yeah.
But yeah, so
Wanda's backstory, man, that was heartbreaking.
Yeah, really sad. The whole like love. This is the love persevering part where Wanda and Vision are talking. We hard. See them like kind of falling in love and stuff because this is after Pietro died in Ultron. All that was really good. And it was just like, and we see that Vision bought a house.
Yeah.
And was building it for them.
Don't
in
understand
Westview,
how.
And that's why she went to Westview. So sad.
Yeah. I don't know. It's also like, in my mind, like, how the heck does an android go into, how does he get the fund? Does he ask Tony?
Avengers must pay something, right? Like they're not doing that for free.
I don't know. Did
the government funded house? It's like a base house for like the military. Like
yeah, that's true. It could be. I don't know. I just like imagine him walking into like a bank and asking for
can I get a loan?
And he's just like, there's like, you're one of the Avengers, right? And he's just like, yeah, and can I get a loan? Like, how does that work? What is going on?
I honestly didn't think about it. I was just too busy crying because Vision bought him a house. They didn't need to live in it.
I mean, I was too, but then once the week went on, I started thinking, like, how does he go about buying a house?
Well, he could transform into a normal person.
That's true. I forgot he could do that. But then he's still got a gem.
Sure, he can make it disappear.
Maybe, I don't know.
Maybe he just likes flashing it off whenever they're talking.
Maybe people think it's like bling or something like that.
How does this episode end? I don't remember.
So it ends with Catherine Hahn, Agatha's taken her through all her memories, and then it just kind of stops.
Oh, and then they're in the street, right? And she like goes full witch mode.
Well, yeah, she hears her kids yelling, so then she runs out into the street, and then she
has them like
Agatha
chained up with her purple magic, and she's like, "You're what the legends have talked about." Blah 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 blah. The Scarlet Witch. Yeah, whenever she said that, I was like so excited for where they were taking this.
I was like, "It's on! She's gonna throw down with Agatha."
I was just excited for like the whole idea of like the Scarlet Witch being this legend,
like mythical. It's like a unicorn. Thing. It's like a unicorn. Like
you're the unicorn.
Yeah, basically she's like 1 in a million.
Yeah.
Like
I think that's really cool also because like we've seen like Scarlet Witch has been that Wanda's been in the Avengers for so long, and we've seen her in like 4 or 5 movies now already by this point. So we've seen what she can do. We've seen her do her thing, and we're barely getting like her comic name, and then we're getting her, and then we're getting like there's just so much build. More that she's going to go into now.
It's real cool.
Like this is literally it feels like the start of something, and yet we've seen
it's real cool because it's a slow build, and it
makes sense.
It's a slow build that makes sense, but also like we saw her in 2014 post-credit scene Winter Soldier, just being able to move stuff with her mind and being able to give people nightmares. And now she's over here creating her own reality. All this stuff, like one of the most powerful
just
beings
because ever. like the whole like putting stuff in people's brains, and I like that they brought that in, like that she does that, like because you forget that she does that.
But then we're
she sneaks, so we go into the series finale. The ending of the last episode, we saw White Vision.
Oh yeah, I knew that was coming. I had a feeling.
And then the start of the series finale, isn't it like it's like pretty quick in where things just like go like
and like they basically pick up right where they left off in the last one, where Agatha's in the streets and she's like
kids.
And then Wanda like
starts,
she like throws some stuff at her, the kids get free, and then she's like, go in the house, I'm about to take care of business. And then she starts throwing down. And then all of a sudden White Vision comes in and she's like, Vision? And then he like tries
like, knock. He like squeezes her head.
Yeah, he like
how did she not just pop immediately?
I don't know.
Vision's like super strong.
And then all of a sudden fake Vision, her Vision
of Vision pops in, and they start having a battle royale where the Vision versus Vision fight,
we're getting ahead of ourselves.
So isn't that like no, because they pop in right there.
But then we're missing that where well, I mean, I guess it happened the entire episode where Scarlet Witch and Agatha were just going at each other all.
Well, but it's like intercut. Like it's Vision versus Vision. It's Agatha versus Wanda.
Yeah.
And all that fighting was like Jen watched 3 episodes with me. She watched the first episode. She watched like the middle episode when Pietro pops up, and then she watched the finale with me. And I turned to her when Vision were fighting, and I was just like, this is so cool.
I think, I would have to agree. That was like my favorite part, because like I was like waiting for it, because I was like, okay, I feel like there's gonna be some kind of like theological, because every time we've seen the Vision, he's always coming up with like these great one-liners and like being like, I am
so we get
running,
into the ship of Theseus thing.
So then
done
he's like
fist fighting, and then now they're having a brain battle basically.
So then he's like, I must destroy the real Vision, and then Vision's just like, but you are the real Vision, and then they just like stop, and
he's like explain,
and then he's just like, I request elaboration, and it's like, and then the ship of Theseus, and they're like talking about like all this stuff. It was just great. I love how they did it.
I loved it just because it like felt right.
It did,
like
because
a Vision battle turns into a philosophical.
Well, because exactly
that's Vision's thing, is like thinking about like what's right in the world and stuff like that,
and like just puzzles like that. And so I thought that was really interesting. And then I'm glad that he was able to give Vision his memories back. But
Yeah.
a lot of people, I don't think understand. So in the comics, there's a point where Vision goes through this change and he again turns white, and whereas this normal Vision that we've seen so far in the MCU has been able to show emotion and have emotion, this new Vision was built not having any emotion, not being able to like connect or have
He's
attachments
just the body,
like this one.
basically.
He's just like a machine, like what
he's like a
he was meant to.
supercomputer.
Exactly. That can, do these fantastical things, but he doesn't have like any kind of emotions whatsoever like the other Vision does. So I saw a lot of people on Twitter saying like, why didn't this white Vision go and help Wanda once he got his memories back? And it's like,
I said that.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of people on Twitter saying that, but it's because he doesn't feel that emotional attachment.
But he gets his memories back, and like his eyes turn, so that like indicates that Vision is back.
That indicates that he is no longer being controlled and told what to do by Hayward, the guy that we hate word. But it shows that he's no longer under their control, and he's kind of like his own being, like the Vision was. But just because he has these memories doesn't mean he feels that love, because he didn't experience that himself.
I don't know. Isn't memory our experiences?
I mean, it's
see the ship of Theseus. See,
I mean, that's hard to say, but that's why. And so I think at the end, whenever that's why he left. He went to kind of go and figure out if he was still the same Vision.
Yeah, but I get what you're saying, but they didn't do that.
Yes,
they didn't show that or explain that at all.
I know.
And I think the show could have done that better. That's one of my criticisms. I think that they should have,
because I saw a lot of people just being like,
he just disappears. He literally just disappears. Like,
they're just like,
he goes, I am Vision, and then like other Vision goes and helps Wanda, and then we never see White Vision again.
Yeah, and a lot of people were like, why didn't the White Vision just go and help Wanda? And I think a lot of people don't understand that.
That's me. Because I'm a lot of people.
I mean, it's hard for me to explain because it's very like,
Dylan, you don't have to explain for the show. Okay, the show didn't explain it.
I know, but I just wanted people to know. I just wanted people to know. Okay,
I know that it's gonna end up being like okay, like maybe they'll explain it down the road or something. But like, in the moment, it was like, where's White Vision?
I'm sure, like in Avengers 5 or 6, in like 2021, in like 2032, whenever they do Avengers 5 or 6, I'm sure they'll explain it.
Yeah, they always do. So we get into like the final altercation between Wanda and Agatha, and Wanda's just like, take it, Mike, I'm done. Like, I'm done with these powers, and she starts throwing them at her.
I just want to point out that she did a good job at being a magician there and misdirecting.
The sleight of hand was great. Although I will say, when she was saying, I'm done, take the powers, I kind of believe, like, even I believed her.
I was like, bit.
Yeah, she doesn't want to do this anymore. She's like, fine, just like, I'll die. Like, you can have them. I don't care anymore. And then it turns out,
and then
she was throwing a root. Jen was like, I don't understand what happened. Whenever this happened, whenever it turns out that there were ruins.
You're like, it's the symbols.
It's the ruins that she said earlier. Remember, the chick was like, you can't cast, another witch can't cast inside of an area with ruins.
You're just like, babe, it's the symbols. The symbols.
Were you not watching earlier? Whenever, I don't know if she even watched that episode, to be honest.
I was gonna say, did Jen even see that episode?
I don't think she saw that episode. I'm over here screaming at her. I didn't see it.
You're just like, babe, it's simple. Don't you understand?
But yeah, so turns out She casts runes and she gets her powers back full fledged, and she becomes the Scarlet Witch. She
Love
gets like
it.
an outfit change and everything. She has
Loved
the
it.
little M.
She had a sick costume.
Her
It's so
costume was dope.
so
dude.
cool.
It looks cool.
Oh my god, like it's so cool. Like just watching out like the final battle as she's going, and I'm like partly watching that, but I'm like admiring the craft. I like to do that. Sometimes a costume is just so well done by the like.
You just can't literally. Honestly, I agree. I was thinking the same thing the whole time. I was just
because I'm like
that's such a cool costume.
I'm like dang, because I was like because like I forget how it went, but like I just loved how it like
it's like comic accurate, but
yeah,
like it's also
it felt
like,
very
it felt
comic.
right.
Yeah, it felt like how I feel about Captain America's costumes.
Mm-hmm.
Like they look like they're pulled straight from the comics, but they're just like but they're like with a little twist that makes sense in a modern world.
Yeah.
And like that's exactly how it was. And I also love that they gave her a little hood. I thought that was really cool.
I thought that was
kind of like
when she popped up her
like,
hood at the end whenever she was walking away from the house. I was like, okay, that's a little dramatic.
She's like, deuces, I'm out.
She just needs like a little broom.
She looked like
she'll ever get a broom.
Hood.
Does Wanda get a broom in the comic?
I don't think so, but she could. It'd be kind of cool if she could ride it like the Silver Surfer rides a surfboard, you know?
So yeah, she turns into the Scarlet Witch. She turns Agatha. She basically like takes
into
over
Agnes.
her mind. Yeah, into Agnes
she turns
like permanently and says, I'll know where to find you if I ever need you again.
Yeah, so she's in control of Agnes now, and she can change her back whenever she wants, which is it's a pretty baller move. Like, she's like, you came in here wanting to be this character. Guess what? You're gonna be it. So I thought that was pretty cool. She didn't have to go that hard, but she did.
Yeah. Then Wanda gives up the hex.
Yeah, which I cried.
She learns that she can't do this to all these people and she has to let go. And her and Vision have this conversation, which I personally thought was way too dramatic and was like not like it was over the top.
I don't know. It still got me. I still cried.
It was emotional, but it was like too emotional. Like I didn't feel it as much as like say when they were doing the love persevering thing. I thought it was just it was one notch too dramatic for me, a little too telenovela.
I cried, but like I also liked the fact that he was like, it felt like they weren't saying goodbye. Yeah. It was just kind of like a see you later. Like,
yeah, definitely.
And so I'm hoping that at some point White Vision
100% that's going to happen. I would put money on it that White Vision's going to be Vision. He's going to get like, because he has his memories.
Yeah. In the comics it happens, but like there's a point where he's just like emotionless. And so there's going to be at some point.
There's definitely going to be an in-between. Yeah.
Yeah. I think at some point the motionless Vision and, you know, emotions are going to collide, and it's going to be like an all new type of Vision.
One thing that I loved about the show was like the whole show was like this love story basically between Wanda and Vision. And it's so weird like that it's literally the show about a witch and an android
falling in love,
being in love and like living this sitcom life, and yet like you just buy into it so like fully, and by the end of it like you totally like feel everything that like went on, and like they just like did a really good job of like fleshing those characters out and making you just like really care about their love story, because up until like WandaVision all that had been pretty much glossed over. Like it was obviously like we knew it was a thing, like we knew that they were together and stuff like that.
Yeah,
they loved
like
each other, but like we never really got to see like them fall in love and stuff like that.
Yeah, we only got together. We only got like small moments, like in Civil War, whenever like
he Wanda flies down and holds her. And stuff.
Yeah, and whenever she's confined to the compound, and he can't even eat, but he's trying to make her favorite dish. And small stuff like that.
We got little like chunks here and there, but like to see it like fully fleshed out was like really great, and they did it really good. But how does WandaVision end?
Well, it ends with
she flies off. She doesn't have to pay for any of the repercussions of her basically brainwashing an entire town and making them suffer.
That's because she didn't sign the Sokovia Accords.
It's true. She did not. Rebel.
So she kind of just got away with it. But I also don't think they really knew what to do.
What were they going to do?
She could have just turned them all into clowns and just been like,
you're arrested, Wanda. Yeah, no, bye.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know. I'm kind of curious to see how the MCU is going to go forward.
Definitely. Yeah, because we get 2 post-credit scenes.
Well, yeah. So we got. What was the first? I forgot.
The first one was with the scroll, correct?
Oh yeah, the first
Monica. One, yeah. Monica, like, gets called aside by. Oh no, she gets called aside by the leader of Sword, correct?
No, she gets called aside by like the agent. They didn't really specify what agent she was.
What she was.
Yeah, and so and then they go into the movie theater and
turns into a scroll.
Yeah, which I don't know if she was the one that Monica met whenever she was little, in Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
And they're like playing cards.
I'm not 100% pro scroll. I'm not really sure how much I like scrolls yet.
I like them.
I think they're kind of weird.
I like them. I can't wait to see what Secret Invasion does with them, because that's going to be.
I'm less excited for that, but we'll see when it happens.
You say that, but then watch whenever it comes out. You're gonna be
I'll probably like, yeah. And then the other post credit is Wanda with the, what is it called? A Darkhold?
Yep, the Darkhold. Yep.
Yeah, so she's studying her witchcraft and she's getting good. Tell you what, she's Doctor Strange in it.
Man, I'm so curious because they use the Darkhold in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., so I'm curious to see if that's...
Yeah, no one cares about Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Dylan.
Everybody should love Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Keep your mouth shut.
But yeah, so...
We won't slander Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. in this
Let's do
household.
like an overall...
What do we rate it out of 10?
Yeah, wrap it up. What's your overall thoughts on WandaVision?
I thought it was amazing, phenomenal. It's got me really excited for the other MCU shows that they plan on doing, and great first outing for Phase 4. If I had to give it a score, I'd say 9 out of 10. There are a few things that they could have done better. They could have explained a few things more, but 9 out of 10, I think.
Yeah, I really like. So this is like the first Disney Plus show for Marvel, and they really did just like not disappoint. Like,
yeah,
I think that the uniqueness of it is what makes me like it so much. Like, I don't think I'm going to like Falcon and Winter Soldier as much as I liked this, just because it's going to be all these movies are always like for different people, where like if you're an action guy, like you're probably going to like the Falcon and Winter Soldier stuff more. But for me, like, I feel like this was like right up my alley, where it was just weird. And it was like this love story, and
right up my alley.
Right up my alley. I'm weird. So I mean, I love this show. I think it definitely had some parts like that I've already talked about that I think could have been done better.
Yeah.
But as a overall, like 100% of success. Super excited for how this is going to factor into the Doctor Strange movie and where Wanda's going to go from here, and Spider-Man. And yeah, I think I'd agree. 9 out of 10.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's our WandaVision wrap up. We're also going to wrap up the show because we've been talking for almost 2 hours, I think.
Yeah, almost 2 hours. It took us a little bit to get stuff going, but we found a groove there. Yeah.
So let's wrap up the show. I'm Matt.
I'm Dylan.
And this was on a Tuesday. Yep. First episode 0 that no one will ever hear. Or maybe we just put it out and we'll see what people think.
Maybe show friends and family. I don't know.
All right. Well, we're going to sign off. Adios.